tell us a little bit about yourselves?
I'm Senior Vice President of Research and Development at Becton Dickinson. I've been with them for the last 9 years, with Medtronic 10 years before that, and still have a ways to go before we ride off into the sunset.
I'm with Becton Dickinson as well. I'm the Vice President of Global Clinical Affairs and Medical Affairs Strategy. I joined Becton Dickinson in 2020, February, just before COVID.
Right.
So indelible on our minds. And prior to that, I was with Medtronic.
Well, how is it that you guys came to me?
So it was a colleague of mine, Rob Carr, met with you, and he kind of relayed his information and how his experience went. We were kind of at a point in our careers where things were starting to take off as well, and we started to have a bit more wealth, and we were just trying to figure out what are we going to do with this and how do we best manage this for our long-term wealth creation and our future. That's how we first met.
Why is it that you did ultimately choose to work with me?
There's a lot of people out there, and what it ultimately comes down to is trust. So you're kind of investing your wealth with someone, and you work hard to get it. When you are going to put it into another, when you're going to invest it, you want to know who you're investing with. I think the first thing for me anyway was just how our relationship started, and just being able to have that feeling of trust and confidence in you, and confidence that you knew what you were doing and that you were going to take care of our wealth in a responsible way. And I think also there was no pressure. You kind of laid out all the options, and then it was our decision ultimately.
What was key was you weren't tied to any one institution. You had the breadth of knowledge. You also had already worked in a medical device company, and it was the trust and the lack of push. We didn't feel, oh my gosh, you know what I mean, now we have to do something. It was like, okay, this is good. So I think you came from a very good perspective of, I'm giving you education.
Was there anything that surprised you about our process and working together?
I remember when you were asking the question, so give me, all your pieces, and I immediately felt, oh, somebody else is looking after that, I don't have to. And then we would go and meet with you, and you would go through, okay, here's, here's where you're at. You showed us the charts. You said, okay, and here's all your debt, guys, and here's what you have coming in. What are we going to do with it? So it was very structured. So you catered for both the visual and the oral learning. So I really appreciated that.
Just the transparency to really lay it all out clearly. We kind of had wealth, but we had no plan. We had no retirement plan. We had no end goal in mind. We didn't understand how we were going to get. Yeah, we didn't know what we had, and we didn't know what we needed either. So I think it was just simplifying it all down, making it transparent, making it clear. Again, it was just an ideal fit for us.
Yeah.
Right. So how do you feel about where you're at right now with your finances and where your future holds for you?
I feel confident, so you know exactly where you're trying to get to, you know exactly where you are, you know exactly what you need to do. Feel in control of it, right? It's our decision, it's our responsibility, but now we know exactly what we have to do by when. And when we get there, either it's 15 years or 10 years or 20 years, we're now in control and we understand what those trade-offs are, which we never had that visibility.
I think we're more mindful now. And that's not an onerous statement. We know Monica is there. We know you have our plan. We've bought into that plan. And again, you made suggestions. I mean, we were the ones that made the decisions.
So what would you say to somebody who was looking for a financial advisor? What would you tell them about me?
Well, I guess I tried to understand what they're currently doing a little bit. Do they have confidence that they understand their wealth situation, what their goals are, what their retirement plans are? And if they didn't, then I think it's an easy recommendation to make, right? So, I mean, people are trying to wrap their arms around some of this stuff, and some people have an idea of what they want, but if they don't, or if they're not comfortable with the advice they're getting, I think it's always worth a conversation. I mean, you can only learn more, right? And then make a more informed decision.
For me, it's not necessarily understanding where they're going, but if I know that they have questions, I would say, oh, well, you know who helped us out. And again, I recognize we could be in very different situations and life stages. I think you could have a very good conversation with Monica, you know what I mean, to again understand what your options are. Because I think a lot of us don't truly know what we don't know.
Is there anything I could have done better or differently to help you guys with this process and kind of get you to your ultimate goal? Right.
So I think no, I would turn the question back to you. What could we have done better for you?
You know, when you're investing so much of a proportion of your wealth, you want to know it's the right decision, and people are just naturally guarded about that. And I think you made it feel very comfortable and very natural and very easy to talk about it. It helped break down a lot of barriers, and you were patient waiting for us. We didn't do it all at once. We did it over multiple years, and we built confidence and trust over time. And I'm not sure there was anything you could do. I think it was more on us just trying to build up our own confidence.
Well, and I find that most medical professionals, they're doing their hardest to earn a fabulous income. You're great about earning money. It's just the stewarding the money that sometimes can be challenging, and you don't necessarily have the time for that. And that's where I come in as a coach and help you guys. So again, I think you're doing phenomenal because you're doing the heaviest lifting, which is earning the income. So you guys are doing great at that. And then we work together to handle the rest. Well, I want to thank you both so much for taking the time. I'm very, very grateful. So you have a great day, and we'll talk soon.